Hello there, Richard from budgetkeyboardist.com. This is kind of a new setup for me. I'm not even sure where I'm supposed to be looking, but anyway, if I do this, my hands are huge. Regardless of that, today I'm going to show you how I used just Logic Pro to do an 80s style song. And when I say 80s style song, it's actually a song I wrote in the 80s with my college all original band. So this is a song called Don't Take This Wrong. And I'm going to give you a little bit of it. I'm going to play like the intro, a little verse. I'm going to play a little bit of the chorus, a little bit of the instrumental, and then we'll break it down and I'll show you how I did it. For those of you who are super advanced with Logic Pro and synths and stuff, this won't be any big deal, but maybe somebody will find it useful. Okay, on we go. So let's start by just firing this song up. Here's what it sounds like.
But you're not willing to give. I'm telling you right now, you ought to learn how.
Okay, and then I'm gonna, hey, quiet. Okay, and I'm gonna jump to the chorus now.
Seems like you always take it wrong. Seem so afraid that you don't belong. Maybe you realize you're wrong. Maybe you'll just turn away and move on. You're always thinking about yourself. Leave all your troubles for somebody else. Seems like you always take it wrong. Seem so afraid that you don't belong.
The vocals could use some tuning, but quite frankly, we didn't have auto-tune back in the 80s, so it is what it is. So then we've got this instrumental section, which sounds like this.
Seems like you always take it wrong. Seem so afraid that you don't belong. Maybe you realize you're wrong.
Okay, so anyway, if you want to hear the whole song, the album is Attack of the 80s Synths. My name is Richard McLemale, and you can find it on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Bandcamp, everywhere. YouTube, everywhere. Anyway, so let's get in and break this down a bit, starting with the drums. So I started out with Kyle, good old faceless Kyle, but I'm not really using Kyle for like the majority of the drum sound. Kyle sounds like this in this track. Right? And then I've got a separate Linn drum playing the exact same thing. So we're using Linn drum, and it sounds like this. So together, they sound like this. So the reason I did that is I just wanted the SoCal kit for a little bit of sparkle. And then it's also kind of cool when we have the little breakdown section over here where you hear Kyle for a little bit and then you hear the Linn drum come in and it sounds like this. So that just kind of adds a little more oomph to it, right? Okay, so those are the drums. The Linn drum that's in Apple Logic is a really good sounding Linn drum, I think. I mean, I think it sounds great. Okay, so then that brings us to the Mini Moog bass, which sounds like that. And for this, I could have used Arturia Mini Moog, but I just decided to go with the classic analog bass patch, which I tweaked a little bit, which you can see on the screen. So either or. And then we've got the the Rhodes that's built into Logic. You know, this guy right here that we're all familiar with. Deluxe Classic. It sounds like this. Oh, I'm sorry. It sounds like this. And then during the chorus, I actually went with Alchemy, and I went with a patch called Brassy and Funky. And that sounds like this. And to me, it just sounds kind of like Jupiter-y. I don't think it sounds all that modern. I think it's got a retro sound to it, so I like that sound. Then there's another keyboard during the intro, which is called 80s AirPad, which sounds like this. And that's very Roland D50, isn't it? And the name of this patch is literally 80s AirPad. So once again, Alchemy to the rescue. Between the retro synth and Alchemy, I can usually find most of what I want. And then, you know, I've got a bunch of other synth plugins. But for this particular song, for this particular album, I went all stock. Okay, so at the beginning, we've got this cool old-fashioned lead sound, which sounds like this. And that's retro synth with some reverb, and it's hyper lead. Okay, so you can see the patch here, and you can see how I tweaked it. And then just one little trick that I did on this that I kind of want to share. If you see this first note right here, see that guy right there? Notice how that doesn't line up with the beat perfectly. There's like a little delay. That's because I put a note way down here. Well, and the reason I did that is because I wanted that wham, like that. I wanted it to rise in pitch. And so I made this short, and see the velocity here on this note is 1, which means you literally don't hear this note. You just hear. So that's kind of a cool trick. That might come in handy for somebody. So that's like the lead. And then I've got 2 copies of it for the instrumental section when they're both going, playing sort of like a box synth kind of thing. Sounds like this. And then the synth bass comes in. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then we've got a good old-fashioned guitar, and this was actually my Strat through an HX Stomp, and it sounds like this. It's sloppy, but it doesn't need to be too clean. And also, it's very 80s sounding. It's kind of like the Fix, right? Like a chugga-chugga sound. So then all that leaves is all of the vocals. And for the vocals, I've got like a main vocal here. This extra part, that's for like an overdub. And I've got a high harmony, a medium harmony, and a low harmony. And they're all well, actually I'm using Soothe. So this is a really cool plugin, and it's especially good for like sibilants. And just what Soothe does is where you have all the spiky frequencies, it smooths everything out. So makes things fit in the mix better. If you do a YouTube search for Soothe too, you'll see people using it way better than me. But anyway, this is the chorus with all the vocals.
Seems like you always take it wrong. Seem so afraid that you don't belong. Maybe you realize you're wrong. Maybe you'll just turn away and move on.
Not tuned. I like it though, right? It's real, right? I mean, you know. Okay, so anyway, on my master bus, I guess you would call it, I've got a multi-pressor. I've got that set to final pop compressor, but I tweaked it a little bit. And then I've got my limiter, which is just set to, I've actually got this set to 0. I'm just using a teeny bit of gain on here because, of course, I've got the loudness meter, and I think I was shooting for 14 on this song, which is about where it ended up. So yeah, there you go. So that's this whole track. Now you could look at the track count and you could see that I'm using 64 tracks, which sounds like a lot, but really the first 39 tracks are just the drums. Nice thing about Logic is that you can use just a regular drum kit, but you can also use what's called a producer kit. And when you do that, you get all the individual drums. And I guess there's one more thing I did want to show you. The Linn drum, if I solo the Linn drum, we listen to it again. Okay, one thing that I did do is for the bass drum, I've got just the littlest bit of boost somewhere, well, almost 100K right there, 96.5K. Just a roughly 1.5 decibel boost, just to take that awesome Linn kick and just give it a little bit of something something. So anyway, again. This was the song Don't Take This Wrong from Attack of the 80 Synths. And again, you can find it anywhere online if you're interested. I'm hoping that somebody found this stuff useful. And if you did, thank you very much for watching. If you didn't, thank you very much for watching also. I'm going to be doing some more specific stuff about like Arturia and the keyboards inside of Logic and about the Yamaha MX88 and all this budget gear. But for right now, I just wanted to make a video about this track. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I will see you again next time I make a video. I'm shooting for about 1 or 2 a month, and then we'll see how it goes and we'll take it from there. Bye.